What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of Coffee and Toys. I'm Mark. Glad to have you here today. It has been a busy week, both in toy news and just in general for me. So I apologize for not getting any reviews out this week, but I do have quite a few Masterverse and Origins figures coming in from Big Bad Toy Store. I finally just shipped my pile of loot, which has, I don't know, lots of figures in it. So I'm looking forward to those. I'm looking forward to bringing you guys some reviews. But yeah, I think we should just jump on into it. With that said, coffee of the day is my good old faithful Folgers Black Silk. Like I've said before, nothing fancy about it. It's a good coffee if you just want to have something quick and easy with a little bit of caffeine boost. There it is. It's also great for mixing with creamers. Yeah, just overall, very good dark roast. So, here's to you. I've got some new mugs coming in, so we're going to see how those work out and start playing around with those. But I do like my hubby. This is my go-to guy. Fun fact, I actually have a coffee warmer right over here, and I can't use it. My wife, because I drink coffee all the time, and it always gets cold. And my wife's like, well, instead of going to the microwave, you should use the coffee warmer. And the problem is the bottom of the cup is, curved inward slightly, and when it sits on that flat surface, it just doesn't warm the coffee cup. So great thought, just doesn't work in this case, so I really need a flat bottom coffee cup. Okay, well, we might as well start with the big news. The biggest news of the week, obviously, is we've had May 4th. May the 4th be with you as well. I can hear everybody saying it. So yeah, we had that going on. Of course, there was large, full-scale Star Wars announcements of figures, statues, etc. We're not going to cover all those things. We're going to cover primarily what I was interested in. Hopefully you are interested in too. But I mean, wow. So they started with a fan stream on the 3rd. I don't think they had one actually on the 4th. But I did watch that fan stream, and they announced a ton of Black Series figures. They announced Vintage Collection. They announced Retro. They announced the Black Series FX helmets, whatever they're called. So yeah, I'm just going to pull up my notes here real quick so we can go through those together because there was quite a bit announced. Let's see. For the Vintage Collection, we'll start out there. Announcements were made. They are going to make Wicket and Nisa, I believe is how you say her name, and they are from the Ewoks cartoon series. So if that's a little niche that you like, those two figures are coming out. Available right now on HasbroPulse.com for pre-order. I believe all these are through Pulse. There might be some exclusives that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but this is where I got my list from. For the other Vintage Collection, they have the Inquisitor, which I'm very interested in seeing because while I'm not a huge fan of the Inquisitor from the Mandalorian series, which this is what the figure will look like, it might be enough to pique my interest just to pick it up. Maybe if I see it in my hobby store, if I see it on a store shelf, I'll pick it up. Definitely not something I'm going to pre-order, but very cool figure. Nice to see that it's going to be made in the Vintage Collection 4-inch style. So very excited about that. We have, for the Black Series, wow, this is a big list of things. I think everyone's personal favorite that was announced was Darth Malgus. Looking very cool. If you've played The Old Republic, I think it was called, you're very familiar with him being the main antagonist of that series. So he is coming to the Black Series, and that was very awesome to hear. We have Mando from The Mandalorian, and this one's different. I looked at it, and I know they said there was something different about him. I think they said something about the shoulder pauldron or the joint is used on the new Clone Trooper or some of their newer figures, so they are going to use those again. For this figure, so I guess improved articulation, but he comes with the Darksaber, he comes with his backpack, he comes with a vibroblade knife, and so yeah. If you don't already have one, that's good news for fans. If you can pick up one, I doubt I'll be picking up one. I've had probably 3 or 4 Mandalorians already, and I'm not interested in another one. But who knows? Maybe I'll see it and it'll knock my socks off. But just at first glance, it looked like every other Mando we've gotten in the Beskar armor. What else we got? Return of the Jedi is going to get Chewbacca. That was very cool because it's Chewbacca at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, where he is a captive of Jabba the Hutt. So he has the choker collar and chain on him. So that's a very cool, again, a little niche version of the character. But hey, there are Chewbacca fans out there. Peter Mayhew, is that his name? The actor? Yeah, I think so. Fans of him. So hey, that's a good Chewie to add to your collection. It looks cool. It looks spot on to the Return of the Jedi. So good for that. What else do we have? Wicket, also from Return of the Jedi, is being released. So I think this is just another re-release. But looked cool. Looked screen accurate. Not something I'll pick up, but very cool. Even though technically it is a 4-inch figure, but it is a Black Series figure, which I say I don't collect, and we're going to get into that here in a minute. Magna Guard from Revenge of the Sith. Or are they also in the second one, Attack of the Clones? Anyway, the Magna Guard from the prequel trilogy. Looking very good. Very cool character. Definitely glad to see that re-release, especially with the Jedi Survivor game, because they are in that game as well, which I've been playing a lot of this week. So we'll probably talk about that here near the end. And finally, we have Ahsoka in her Padawan days being released or re-released to the Black Series. Again, this is a character that I know some about, but I don't know when she was the Padawan, or I don't know how many times she's been released in the Black Series already. I know she has been released in the Vintage Collection, and I'm very excited to see this figure for folks that collect the Black Series. And yeah, final figure that was announced, I believe, was the Clone Wars Phase 2 Clone Trooper with removable helmet, and that just looks perfect. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Clone Trooper or a Stormtrooper. Those things are always going to sell, so very cool to see that come back out. Very cool to see it has a removable helmet. Excellent for those that want to pick those up. And then finally, Axe Wolves will be getting a Black Series Deluxe FX helmet. Standard Mandalorian type helmet. Looks cool. Probably shares a lot of the tooling, molding with the other helmets, the Boba Fett's, the Jango Fett's, the Mandalorian, all those. So very cool to see that. Again, not something I collect, but if you do, that is awesome. And I think the only other thing that was announced, pardon me while I turn back on my notes. This is actually not mine, so there we go. So yeah, it was very cool to see that. Now, they did announce the re-release of the Archive series, and I didn't write those notes down. Who were Stormtrooper? I know was in it. Imperial Stormtrooper, so that was very cool. Who else did they announce in that series? I do not remember. I remember the Stormtrooper was the one that caught my eye because I was like, okay, it's always cool. If I see a Stormtrooper, I'm going to grab that off the shelves. I know there's a Leia from Return of the Jedi coming out, but I don't remember if that's the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary, or if that was an Archive series coming back out. Not sure about that. I'll have to get back. And there's a couple other ones announced. Unfortunately, I don't remember what those were, so I can't report on it. But overall, very cool May the 4th presentation, shown things that they were doing. That was very cool to see. All the Star Wars stuff. It's always cool to see Star Wars stuff. So, very cool. And yeah, a lot of that stuff's coming very soon by the end of the year. So, switching over to other toy news. Lots of news in the Mattel Masters of the Universe Origins, Masters of the Universe Masterverse, lots of leaks. So we're just I've got a list of things that we need to dive in and talk about. Like I mentioned, I have a lot of figures coming in this week and or this coming week. So very excited to get those out and get them displayed, get them reviewed. So stay tuned towards that. If you're interested, of course, check out my reviews on those figures. They are very awesome. But some of the big news for this leak are the Masterverse Wave 11 figures. And with that, we have Skeletech. Don't know. Sorceress Tila, as seen at the end of Masters of the Universe Revelation. New Eternia, Trapjaw, and New Eternia Man-at-Arms. Those two I'm looking very forward to. This new Eternia concept is producing just fantastic versions of characters with that perfect mixture of old and new. I would liken it to the folks that collected G.I. Joe back in the early 2000s, specifically around the Pursuit of Cobra. That is, New Eternia is the He-Man equivalent of Pursuit of Cobra. Like, they are just knocking these figures out of the park with this, new concept ideas, but still maintaining that core original figure. So I'm looking forward to Trapjaw. I'm looking forward to Man-at-Arms. Sorry, forgot there for a moment. Skeletech is from Revolution. So is Sorceress Tila. It's probably some combination of what she looked like at the end of Revelation and probably within the whole show of Revolution. But Skeletech, a lot of the rumors are that this is what we see Skeletor being turned into at the end of the show. I should give credit where credit is due. This was leaked by Zexus Strife, known for being able to provide information, works in the toy industry. So credit to where credit is due to Zexus. And then finally, we got Origins Wave 15 and 16 figure leaks. So I'm just going to run through those and we're going to talk about them. A lot of them are reissues, and that's not a bad thing. Origins Wave 15, we have a reissue of Merman originally from Wave 3. So if you didn't get a chance to get Merman, you're going to have another chance now. And it looks like, just looking through this is going to be a normal occurrence with Mattel. So that's good. So in addition to Merman, we are going to get a Filmation version of He-Man and Beastman. So if you remember, they've released Filmation versions before of these characters, and they look very good. It's just nice to be able to finally see them on a Origins buck, but having that Filmation look to them. I know a lot of us, including myself, really like the Filmation version. When we think of He-Man, that's what we think of as the Filmation version. So it's nice to finally be able to get He-Man and Beastman. Now, Wave 16 is going to continue that reissuing of older figures, and they are going to release She-Ra, which is very good because a lot of people had a hard time finding She-Ra back whenever she originally came out. I was fortunate enough to find her. Very excited for those that are going to have another opportunity to pick She-Ra up. So, She-Ra's going to be a reissue. Merman's going to be a reissue. If you don't have something in your collection, chances are 2024 you're going to be able to find it again, hopefully. They're going to do these re-releases of some of the harder to find figures. That Wave 3, Wave 4 lineup back in 2021, 22, I can't remember. It was very difficult to find. And it was still during COVID. It was just really hard to find it. So it's really nice that Mattel is going to release some of these more popular figures that are missing from collectors' collections. In addition, Wave 16 is going to produce a Filmation Man-at-Arms and Filmation Skeletor. So you are going to have 4 figures sometime in the end of this year, beginning of next year, that are going to be Filmation accurate, Masters of the Universe origin figures, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, Skeletor, and He-Man. Very cool. Thank you, Mattel, for producing these. I can't wait to actually see the figures, and I'm sure they're going to probably show them sometime during the San Diego Comic-Con window is probably when we'll see a lot of these things drop, which isn't that far away. So that's pretty exciting. There's a lot of exciting news around that. Finally, the biggest surprise to the Masters of the Universe Origins line. Take a drink of coffee so you guys can just build that anticipation. The Masters of the Universe line is going to include the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is really cool. And we are going to get all 4 turtles. This is speculated to be sometime early to mid 2024. And of course, you're going to get Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael. But you are also we are going to get mutated He-Man and mutated Skeletor. So I can only assume the worlds collide and He-Man's going to turn into a Ninja Turtle. Pardon me. And Skeletor's going to turn into something. But that's all we have right now is mutated He-Man, mutated Skeletor, and the 4 turtles. They will be origin style, the standard buck, but I guess in size, not actually the standard buck. But that's really cool. I was a huge Ninja Turtles kid whenever I was growing up. Huge Ninja Turtles. As a matter of fact, it was pretty much Masters of the Universe, Ninja Turtles, and even though G.I. Joe is my favorite property, G.I. Joe is probably for a long time played third to those other two, at least as in sheer number of figures I had. Actually, I think G.I. Joe actually came on a little bit later. I was playing with G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles at the same time. He-Man was always first, based on my age. But anyway, so very cool to be hearing about a mashup between Masters of the Universe and Ninja Turtles. Very cool. 2024 is going to just continue rocking Motu. And of course, now we're going to have a crossover with the Ninja Turtles fandom. And that can only be good things. So, very cool. Lots of news around Motu. Now, in other news of figures, a line that I am not personally collecting right now, but will be starting to collect at least one figure of, is the McFarlane SuperPowers figures. Now, if you've walked into a Walmart in the last 8 or 9 months, you've seen these figures choking the pegs. A very lukewarm reception. I know there was initial super great buzz about it, and then those things just flooded the market, and they're still, I mean, you can walk into your clearance aisle at Walmart right now and pick one up for probably $7 or less. Potentially. I think my local Walmart yesterday had Green Lantern and only Green Lantern on the pegs, and I was like, ugh. No one, I mean, I don't like seeing these figures by the tins just hanging there rotting at, $10 price tag. But they did announce wave 4 of these figures. And in that wave, got some pretty good hitters, and those include a reissue of Wonder Woman with a new cape, new paint deco, which looks very good, looks much better than the one that was just the first release. Not that there was anything inherently wrong with it, but this one looks much better. When I look at this one, this is the one that screams to me, oh, that's my Wonder Woman. That's the one I remember my sister having on her pajamas and her sheets and blah, blah, blah. That's what I remember. And this one looks very, very good. Might have to pick that one up. Aquaman is going to be released, and Aquaman, his head's a little small. If you've seen the pictures online, he has 2 hands. He has the one swimming hand and the trident. He can hold his other hand. That's a very cool figure. But I think the two that most people are excited about are Batman and Robin. We'll start with Robin first because Robin is kind of this amalgam of the 2 Robin figures. He has a yellow cape he comes with. Doesn't look quite like the 60s, 70s version of Robin that you might remember from the 66 Batman TV series like I do. But he doesn't look like a modern day Robin either. He looks like a nice mashup right in the middle. It's a great looking figure, and definitely just gives off that SuperPowers vibe from the original. And then finally, of course, they are releasing Batman, and this Batman looks almost identical to the Batman we got in the original SuperPowers line, which is what everybody wanted when the first wave came out, and they gave us the dark gray, dark blue, black bat logo Batman. This one is going to be the light gray with the yellow bat insignia, bright blue. The only difference they made is they made the front of the cowl black with the blue eyebrows, but the rest of the cowl is the same blue as the original figure. So I saw that just scrolling through social media, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna own that. $10, gonna own it. And it looks great. Like I said, they've reworked the capes, so all the capes that are on the figures in this series are much more true to the original SuperPowers, like material or feel or whatnot. So that's very cool to hear. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick that up. They also announced a Black Mantis Walmart exclusive SuperPower figure. So looking forward to that, especially if you are a fan of Black Mantis. You will be able to find Black Mantis at your local Walmart as an exclusive. So we have covered the SuperPowers. Oh, no, there's 2 more things. They announced 2 vehicles. 2 vehicles. They announced the Batmobile, which is, I think, the first leaked picture of the Robin and Batman. They actually leaked the Batmobile and had both the characters sitting in it. So that was very cool to see. Not sure I'll get that. I might. if I get Batman and Robin, I might have to get the Batmobile. We'll see. And then the second vehicle announcement was the Invisible Jet for Wonder Woman. So, just a clear plastic jet that you can put Wonder Woman in. Never understood that. But yeah, if you're Wonder Woman, you got to have the Invisible Jet. So, very cool. Nice to see that. McFarlane keeps knocking out toys left and right. It's insane how much they produce. I don't know what Todd McFarlane's margin is, but it can't be much. But man, he just pumps out figures like nobody else. Wow. So, as far as the news this week, I think that's about all I can recall. No, there is some G.I. Joe news. A little bit of news, but news nevertheless. There is a viral imagery, wording, whatever you want to call it, going around, been shared on Hasbro Pulse and Hasbro's different social media platform accounts. And it was alluding to Agent Longfellow sending transmissions back to G.I. Joe in regards to the Hiss tank and saying, we are going to need something to combat this. So everybody is taking this as the hints of the next G.I. Joe HasLab. Everybody's saying it's going to be a Joe vehicle. I can't really say I disagree with that based on what I've read. Lots of things being thrown out. Oh, it's going to be a snowcat. No, it's going to be a tank. We don't know. There's a lot of good guesses. A lot of people want to see some figures like Chuckles. The Agent Longfellow in particular, they're saying might be Chuckles. It could be Quick Kick. Again, this is all speculation. We don't know until Hasbro tells us something. Again, I expect that to be probably either at San Diego Comic-Con, or if they do a Yo Joe June like they've done the last couple of years, they'll probably reveal more then. So it's nice to see this little viral social media event going on right now, kind of prepping us up, building that anticipation for either Yo Joe June and or San Diego Comic-Con. So next HasLab coming up for G.I. Joe will likely be a classified line again, which that's cool. I back the Hiss tank. I will probably back this one as well. So that takes care of the Joe news. That takes care of Masters of the Universe, SuperPowers. What else do we have? We talked about Star Wars, Motu with Turtles. Let's talk about purchases I've made this week. Like I said earlier, I have a big, ginormous order from Big Bad Toy Store coming in sometime this week. Lots of figures. I'm going to guess somewhere in the neighborhood of, it's double digits. It's probably close to 12 figures. Looking forward to getting those reviewed, especially the Masterverse figures. A lot of good things there. Purchases this week, I've only got 2 purchases. One of them, I'll show it on the screen. Actually, I'll show both of them. So, in addition to the other new Masters of the Universe, I do have the Skeletor with Screech. This just came in from Entertainment Earth yesterday. So I will be doing a review on this very soon. I am looking very much forward to reviewing this figure. Movable jaw. Awesome. And my son and I went to, GameStop. It's near where my wife works, and it was the the May 4th event that went through the weekend. Specials on Star Wars figures and whatnot. And I saw this figure, and I decided, even though I don't collect Black Series, I am a huge nerd for Luke Skywalker. So I picked up the Star Wars Mandalorian Luke Skywalker Light Cruiser. And if you're like me and you saw this during season 2 of The Mandalorian, you lost your mind because it was so awesome. And I said, you know what? I've got the vintage collection version of this figure. Well, Return of the Jedi version, but you know what I'm saying. And I've got a little vintage collection Grogu. And I also have I just got the retro version of Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. So I think just having the retro figure, the vintage collection figure, and the Black Series Luke Skywalker, I think it's going to look really cool in my collection. So be looking out for a review of this figure. This will be my first Black Series figure I reviewed. And this packaging is so light. I actually asked the dude at the counter, I said, is there a figure in here? Because this box is incredibly light. And he's like, I guarantee you the figure's in it. He's like, and he talked about the windowless packaging and kind of brought that up, and I'm like, no, if you say the figure's in there, it's fine. I can see it's not been opened. But yeah, it was very cool to see that. I decided to pick it up. What other purchases? Oh, I did get a one other figure earlier in the week at GameStop. I did get the Doctor Doom Retro 5 POA figure. Saw it at a GameStop. I had $5 off. Wound up costing me like $5 for it. And I just picked it up. I know that line's going away, so I decided to pick that up. I'm not going to bring it out. I'd have to walk over and grab it, and I'm just too lazy and don't want to get up anymore. But yeah, so I picked that up. But yeah, not a lot of purchases this week. Went to some Walmarts, went to Target, went to GameStop, as I mentioned, and lots of stuff out there. I was shocked. I did see Classified Series, CoverGirl, and Falcon out in the wild, which shocked me because it was at a Target that never, ever has G.I. Joe figures. Walk in with my son, we're looking at all the toys, we're looking at, we look at his toys, then we go look at Dad's toys, and I'm just like, wow, and I pulled CoverGirl off, and of course it's that windowless packaging, and then I just remembered that is such an ugly figure, both of them not great. I'm not going to pick these figures out. If they go on discount, I'll pick them up, but I'm really not sold on CoverGirl. I might pick up Falcon. But CoverGirl, in my mind, they dropped the ball on her. Her face looks terrible. Sorry, Hasbro folks. Just my opinion. Just the opinion of some dude on the street. Not a great figure. You messed that one up. CoverGirl, by definition, is supposed to have a very attractive face, and someone just did not do that for her. A figure's face should not look like it's plastic, even though it's made of plastic. If you get what I'm saying. But anyway, it was interesting to see both those on the pegs, and there were plenty of them. There was probably 3 of each, and I just said, nope, not doing these. I guess final news for those that have been following the WCW Nitro Arena. That did not fund, unfortunately. I checked it about 2 hours before the funding was supposed to end, and it was right around 3,500, 3,800 of the 5,000 needed. And I said, nope, not gonna fund. I'm not gonna throw my hat in the ring on this. Wasn't ever planning on it. Only way I was gonna throw my hat in the ring is if it got close enough to unlock the Ultimate Warrior figure, which it was not ever gonna get that close. So I'm not too worried about it though. They still have the Nitro ring with Eric Bischoff projected to come out as a Walmart exclusive. And yeah, didn't fund. I'm sure there's some folks that are disappointed. I'm not one of those. Too much money, not enough goods. Too large stretch goals. And again, as I said before, almost all those figures have come out or are coming out. So plenty of Hulk Hogan's out there. Scott Steiner's coming out. Rey Mysterio's aplenty. I will bet money that we will get that first WCW appearance, Ultimate Warrior, down the line somewhere. So that's what I'm banking on. If we don't get it, then it's my fault. And everybody that didn't support it, but Mattel's not going to leave money on the table like that. Oh, well. With that, if you've stuck with me this far, I appreciate it. If you could hit the thumbs up button, like this video. I really do enjoy making these. I enjoy talking to you folks. I hope you guys are getting something from me. Like I said, this is Coffee and Toys. I'm Mark, and we will see you later.